Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on first steps on pathways. My name is Andreas Geiger. I'm the Division E Director, 2018-2019. I have the responsibility for the 20 Toastmasters clubs that we are blessed to have in the beautiful region of Zurich. Why do we run this webinar on pathways? It's the biggest education reform Toastmasters has done as long as I'm with Toastmasters. I've been with Toastmasters since 2009, and there is a lot of discussions going on. People that just joined us are more or less happy with pathways. When I'm speaking to the seasons, the long-standing members, some of them are disappointed. They say, why do you devalue all the things we did in the past? Why do you leave us with such a complicated platform? And I'm here today to show how to do the first steps with pathways. And also when you are a club officer, when you are a VPE, when you are mentoring other members, some talking points that can be used to encourage more people to embrace pathways. Okay. Let's do it like this. So you saw more or less the contest table. It's like a few chapters that we go through in this webinar. After each chapter, there will be the chance to ask questions and to interact with each other. Okay, so I see we are all here, and we start very simple with the question how to log into pathways. Please keep in mind that most of our members, when they have not been club officers, they only had to log into Toastmasters.org when they moved house. So they're not used to logging into Toastmasters.org, but they have to if they want to access pathways. And let's try if we can do this. So this is Toastmasters.org, and you have the login page. When people forgot their password, it's like with every online service, they can click here and get a new password. And let me quickly log in for you and show you how this works. Voila. So I'm now logged into Toastmasters.org. And if I want to access pathways, there is in the menu bar pathways. And the first thing that people that have never used it should click on is choose a path. And this leads us directly to the second question, how to choose and to access a path. And when they are a Toastmasters member, they have one path which is for free. And when they want to unlock a second path, they have to pay $20 in an online shop with their credit card. And the next step they would do is take your assessment. And do you see this window which just popped up? So I take it that you see the window that it just popped up. So you select your language, and then you go on Start to start your Pathways initial assessment. This is a questionnaire. It's 20-something questions that you can ask. You have to answer all of them, otherwise you will not get to the goal. And where you assess yourself and find out which of the 11 paths that are available right now is the right one for you. At the end, there will be a proposal, so the first match, the second match, the third best match, and then people can decide for their path. If this is too cumbersome, or if you already know what you want to do, you can skip the assessment and go directly to the menu. So these are the 11 paths. This is the engaging humor, the 11th one, which was just recently added. And then you can select your path. You go and choose this path. Is this the right one for you? And then you are in that online shop form that I mentioned already, where they ask you to come up with your address, your credit card details, and then you can buy that additional path. As said, the very first path that people choose is for free. Okay, and now I show you a website which is very useful. This one, I share the link with you in the chat. So this is a web page. It's not part of the official Toastmasters.org pathways world, but it's very useful because you have the 11 paths on 2 websites. The first 5 ones and then the 6 additional ones on 2 websites. And I like this a lot because, for example, this is the path that I'm currently doing, dynamic leadership. So I can show our members what they can expect. So what will be in level 1, which projects, what will be in level 2 and level 3. And here the discussions start with our seasoned members. They, for example, say, why do I need to do the icebreaker again? Why do I need to do such basic knowledge projects again? And then I say to them, yes, the icebreaker can be taken over from the traditional project. The only thing that can be taken over officially, that's a rule from Toastmasters. There's a form out there to do this. However, I enjoyed doing the icebreaker again. For me, it was after 9 years, I introduced myself again to the group. I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the other projects here. For example, research and presenting. Makes sense to look into a topic and present it to the group. And unfortunately, I have somebody that is making noise. So I allow myself to put you on mute. And now we have a better sound quality again. Okay, so here it's really case by case. Please take the time when you are the vice president education, when you are the mentor to somebody, to speak to people. Some people are really disappointed. I have the impression some of them, they take pathways as an excuse to get out of Toastmasters. Let them go. For all the others that are still motivated and maybe a bit confused, take time to speak to them and find case-by-case solutions. So I, for example, allowed one person to take over the icebreaker. We also agreed that we take over, I think it's project 7, where you research something, that we include this into pathways so that they don't leave the feeling of we devalue what they did in the past. And here I would like to open the floor already. Are there any experiences that you have or questions at this point? Okay, I see that Rudolf opened his microphone. Do you want to say something? Okay, then I continue. Okay, so I allow myself to put you on mute again because we have a sound problem. Okay, so I hear somebody speaking, but unfortunately we have a sound problem, so I can't understand what you say, and I put you on mute. I'm sorry for that. Please put your questions into the chat because I can't hear you properly. And yeah, okay, very good. So for seasoned Toastmasters, the magic starts with, for me, it started already on level 2, where I realized that Pathways is really interactive. I like these psychology tests, understanding your leadership style, understanding your communication style. This was not possible with the traditional manuals. This is only possible with an interactive solution that we have now. And I'm very much looking forward to level 3, where I have a lot of elective projects that I can adapt or pick the ones that really are linked to my education needs. And I see there is a question on the chat. So please, Christina, thanks for raising your question. Please put it into the chat and I will immediately answer it. Unfortunately, I can't hear you because of bad sound quality. Okay, so if people are not sure which path to take, I strongly recommend this website, Karen's Story, where they can have an overview and maybe this helps finding the right path. Okay, then the next question is how to access the projects smoothly. And here I also have to admit it took me, so I had no support. It took me 2 hours to finally get along with the Pathways platform. And I'm happy to share with you 2 things. So when you are on toastmastersinternational.org, click on Pathways and only focus on 2 links. One is choose the path. So when you want to do the initial assessment or choose your path. If you just want to work with your projects, go to the Basecamp directly, and then you see the website changes into this world here. And a recommendation that I have directly here is, it's a bit confusing. I do not know why they show me so many things here. So what I do is I click on all types and I change it to curriculum. So I only see my 2 paths that I'm currently working on. People ask me on which paths can I work in parallel at the same time. There is no limit to that, but you can so you can buy more than one path and work on them in parallel. One lady, for example, she works on one path in German language and on the other one in English language. And I picked the dynamic leadership. And please don't click on this name dynamic leadership, because you will be routed to this strange page. Just go back if you are stranded on that page, and then go back to this page, curriculum. And I know it's a bit crazy, it's not very intuitive. And then open curriculum, and then you are in your path, my case, dynamic leadership. You see, I'm happy to report that I completed level 1 now, and I'm now working on level 2. So my next project would be Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. I click on Activate, and now it's super important that people deactivate their pop-up blockers, because this will now open in a pop-up window in the browser. You can tell your browser that you only want toastmasters.org, or this the right name is toastmasterscsod.com, that only on this website pop-ups are allowed, because it can be very annoying when you have advertisement popping all up the time. But in your browser, in Chrome, or in my case Firefox, you can make that selection. And now, and it takes quite some time to launch this pop-up window. It's still launching, and I'm now changing my screen sharing for you to this pop-up window. And let's really hope that we will see something here soon. Still see a white page. In the meantime, I go to the chat and see what questions we have. So we have one question of Christina. As far as I know, you cannot skip pre and post assessment, or pathways will stop you dead in your tracks. You cannot progress at all if you skip this. Yeah, Christina, please try it as I showed it. And if you have any problems, have good experience with just sending emails to Toastmasters, just use the email address membership@toastmasters.org. Sometimes it takes up to 5 days for them to come back, but they come back. Just send them screenshots if it doesn't work and ask for support. We also have a person on District 109 level who does the pathway support. You find that email address on the District 109 page. Then we have an opinion of Ivan. Pathways is very unfriendly. Why is Pathways so messy? The learning content is in one corner, the evaluations are in another corner. The material for a single project is scattered. Will this be fixed? Ivan, I don't think so that it will be fixed, at least not in the next 2 years. It's a 100% volunteer organization. I say let's live with this. We also do this webinar to show you how to navigate smoothly on the website. And I try to get back to my path. So I tried it a couple of times today and it worked very nicely. And I'm now opening my current project, and I will share this again with you. Here we go. And yeah, coming back to Ivan's question, I was also very disappointed. It took me more than 1 year to embrace pathways. I logged in, I was disappointed. And now in my role as division director, I more or less had to do it. It took me 2 hours to get along with the navigation, but now I navigate in there very smoothly. I enjoy it and I find my projects, and I really have a great momentum in doing pathways project. So now we have the project open, and this is like when you are working in a big corporation, you are used to web-based trainings. I think it's the same company that produced the stuff for Toastmasters here. So this is more or less what we know already. If you don't have a lot of time, you can quickly go to my evaluation where you find the PDF. This is the evaluation document that you need for your personal evaluator. You can also print your project. This is more or less a project description that we know already from our manuals. And so you click through all the pages, and after that you are done. You can complete your pathways project. You will deliver your speech, then you get the written feedback from your personal evaluator. My tip is to just take your smartphone, take a picture of that written evaluation, and then upload it to the Pathways e-portfolio. Let me also show you this. Here we go. Changing the screen sharing again. So we are here in Pathways. We go back to the home page of Pathways, and we now have my feedback. And we, so when we, again, coming back to how to navigate in here, there are, when you are in the Pathways homepage, which is this one, there are just 2 areas that you need. It's education transcript, where you can access your paths like this. And there is the feedback area, which is this one. And here you have your e-portfolio. It's like a cloud store area where you have your levels. And in my case, I have the pictures of the written feedbacks from my evaluators from all the level 1 projects nicely stored in here. Another big advantage of Pathways compared to the manuals, nothing gets lost. So when your evaluator needs to take the manual home with him or herself to provide the written feedback, sometimes manuals got lost. This was very unfortunate when people had 7, 8, 9 projects done and then the manual was gone. Can't happen with this cloud storage that we have here now in the e-portfolio. And when you are in this area, again, strange name, transcript is the area where you have your path access again. I think now it's again time to answer questions. Please try to open your microphone if you feel comfortable and speak up. Otherwise, I will look into the questions from the chat. And okay, I hear somebody talk, but again, sorry, Christina, the sound quality is unacceptable. I have to put you on mute. Please put your remarks and questions into the chat. So what we have here, I try to load the nice page with the paths by entering this link, but there is an error message. May I ask me to drop the good link? So I will share again the Karen story link here. Hope this works this time. Okay. There's also a Pathways discussion forum on Facebook. Yes, very good. Helpful and supportive people there. Yes, yes. So if you are stuck, please reach out. What I do is I just Google the questions. Yesterday, that one lady asked me, can I work on 2 paths in parallel? I just entered it into Google, the whole question, and there was a very good hint already. For more tricky problems, please reach out to actual people. You see the Facebook link or also the Toastmasters officials. Okay. So, okay, Christina, I open your microphone again. Please speak up now. Okay, and I'm closing your microphone again because the sound quality is still not like last week. I'm very sorry for that. I put you on mute. Where is the leadership track? Very good question. There is no leadership track, obviously, anymore. You have your paths that I showed you here. And in my example, so I have the dynamic leadership, and there are no leadership projects there anymore. So I can't see them, not on level 1, not on level 2. There is this one project where I assessed my leadership style, but Pathways is not triggering me to take over any meeting roles. And I don't think this will come. So this is for a club officer team, this is a challenge. And we already put out a one-pager on how to deal with this, how to still sell meeting roles under Pathways. This is a challenge that I understand now and that we are aware of. In my role as division director, I saw it also. I saw patterns from the club visit reports that clubs are struggling to fill meeting roles. Pathways is not helpful there, but we have very good workarounds on how to encourage people still to do this. And now I see there is something again in the chat. Okay, they added engaging humor. Does this mean they will continue to add paths? Yes, this is the understanding. This is just one of the first releases of Pathways. They will continue improving it all the time. Another big advantage compared to the manuals were printed. They stayed there for years. Pathways as an electronic platform is way more flexible when it comes to opening or making new modern education content available. Okay, please continue asking questions on the chat or open your microphone to ask me directly if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, I will continue with the questions and the chapters that I have prepared for you. So the next question is how to complete a level. So you see here in my path, dynamic leadership, that I completed level 1 and I'm close to completing level 2 soon. By the way, if you have any problems with sound, if you can't hear me, the recording of this webinar will be available 2 hours after this webinar for download. So we go to dynamic leadership and we are on level 1, which I completed already. So when you complete the 3 projects of level 1, the so-called bootcamp managers, this is the president of your club, the VPE, and I think the secretary. These 3 people, they get an email notification that you have completed all the projects of level 1. They have to, first you have to click here to say, okay, I'm done with level 1, and then they click on the button, and then they also confirm that level 1 is done and level 2 is unlocked. Also, something that makes people a bit sad, you don't have the flexibility to just jump on level 3. You can't, you see there are not the buttons yet. Here the platform is very strict. They want you to first learn the basics and then move on to level 3 or to the higher levels. We had more flexibility with the manuals. You had 10 speech projects and you could say, okay, this topic fits to this project. I jump over. This is with Pathways only within the levels possible. Something that people criticize. Okay. What else do I have on my list? Where to get written feedback and how to store it. This is a third area that we need to use in the Pathways website. It's called speech evaluations. On this page, you find all the project evaluation forms for the members. Again, this is also, it's a bit complicated, and there is a workaround. So you can use this link here. I'm sharing a link on our group chat again. And this is one website where you have all the PDFs stored, the evaluation forms. It's 3 pages PDF. The first page, the second page where you have these various levels, and a third page where there's just, they describe how to do the evaluation. So if you don't feel comfortable with the Pathways platform, you have another workaround, this website here where we have all the PDFs for download. So if you are, ideally the speakers provide you with that PDF, that would be ideal, but if they don't, and you need it on short notice, you can just download it from this page. We have another thing from Christina here in the chat. Why can't we get credit in Pathways for the CC, CL, ACB work we have done? Why should everyone start from scratch? And that's a pity, yes or no. Again, it's a new education program. I have been with Toastmasters for 10 years. I think it's the biggest reform in decades that they did. It's a new thing. And of course, for people that are very seasoned, when you have the advanced community operator bronze, silver, or something, you do a lot of projects, it feels like devalue what you did. The first answer for everybody is the traditional Toastmasters education program in our Region 10. So District 109 is part of Region 10. It will run until June 2020. So people now have 14 months to complete the manuals they are currently working on. It's still possible to reach an Advanced Communicator Silver Education Award. It's possible to get an Advanced Communicator Gold. People that now push for becoming a district officer, meaning an area director or a division director, they still have the chance to reach the DTM until June 2020. For all others, as I said, it's a one-on-one discussion. Some of them are so disappointed, they threaten to leave Toastmasters now. The others, and I have 7 or 8 mentees that I'm working with, some of them very advanced in the traditional program. It takes time to speak to them, and what helped a lot is showing them how the individual paths look like, that it's really something different, and there is a lot of things to learn, useful stuff. And only this week I managed to convince 2 of my mentees, very advanced, they did 20, 25 prepared speeches from the traditional one, to at least be open for Pathways and give it a try. And I myself, I enjoy it very much. So I enjoyed doing the icebreaker again. I enjoy these new interactive things. Tell people to give it a try. I know the navigation is cumbersome in the first place. I hope this webinar today helps them navigating in there smoothly, finding the stuff. My personal experience, I'm now on level 2, is I really like Pathways. Okay, are there more questions? There is one more on the chat. Is it correct? Once I started with Pathways, I can't achieve CC or CL anymore. Lucas, thank you for that question. Not to my knowledge. Again, until June 2020, you can still go to your Vice President Education, use the forms that we need to apply for these awards. I do not know if this is correct. If you have any problems, just send an email to membership@toastmasters.org to sort this out. Okay, another very interesting question, how to reach the DTM award with Pathways. And here I have a nice picture for you. This is what people are required to do in the Toastmasters Pathways curriculum to become a DTM now under Pathways. They do one path and they do a second path. And there is again critique. Why do I have to do the icebreaker 2 times? Why do I have research and presenting 2 times, evaluation 2 times? I don't know. I only say it makes sense to introduce yourself to the group from time to time. And these two projects, you can use them for any topic. You can use them for a business topic. In evaluation and feedback, you deliver the speech once, then you get feedback from your Toastmasters friends, and you deliver it again. I say it's useful stuff, but it feels like repetition. I imagine that there is quite some time between doing the two paths. So in my case, I want to do dynamic leadership. I think this will take me 1.5 years. And then I start with effective coaching. And I don't see the big problem after 1.5, 2 years. Yeah, kind of repeating things. My leadership style might change over 2 years. My communication style is constantly changing. So why not doing these tests and very useful assessment that I saw? And it's a way to reflect your leadership and communication style again. And mentoring is also, it's the key to the kingdom, so important for every Toastmasters club. It makes sense to remind us from time to time about this. Okay, but how to reach the DTM? One path, second path, then you complete the Distinguished Toastmasters project. This was the high performance leadership project in the traditional program. Then there is no change. They want you to serve as a club officer for 1 year, 12 months. They want you to serve as a district officer, meaning an area director, division director, district director, PQD, club growth director for 12 months. Also no change compared to the traditional program. Club extension is still something, also no change. You are serving as a club sponsor, speechcraft coordinator, youth leadership coordinator, and I think this is new, that they want you to serve as a club coach, so supporting a club that is under strength or weak over 1 or 2 years to bringing them back to being distinguished, or to be a club mentor. So there is not too much change for these leadership roles, advanced leadership roles, but you have to do the two paths, and we can't use the speech project that we did in the past. Okay, by the way, this beautiful overview is part of Mark Snow's Toastmasters Pathways Companion Guide. Mark Snow is the first, worldwide, the first person that reached the DTM in Pathways. It took him 2.5 years. He had an advantage because he was in one of the pilot regions and he was very focused. You will find 2 YouTube videos of him, Mark Snow, where he's also, of course, he embraced Pathways. He likes it. Maybe he, with his arguments, with his enthusiasm, you can also take this into your clubs and try to convince the members that are skeptical about Pathways. And his companion guide includes this overview of how to reach the DTM in Pathways. Okay, when I look at the watch, we have only 6 minutes to go. I'm done with the stuff that I wanted to share with you. Please, again, if you feel comfortable, open your microphones, ask questions, also use the chat function. We have 6 more minutes to discuss and to look into your questions. I'm not in a rush. I will also stay on the call after 19:15. So if you have more questions, I'm very happy to discuss them with you. We will just end the recording at 19:15.
Hello, Andreas. This is Michael Simmons speaking.
Hello, Michael.
Hi. I just had a small question. In Easy Speak, I noticed that there is, in principle, a link called Pathways Basecamp, but it doesn't seem to be active. And I just wondered if there's a plan to make this active, or why that's there.
Sorry, I can't answer that question. Please send the question to the Easy Speak support team. I know that they take even longer to come back to you than Toastmasters headquarters. And we also have an Easy Speak support person on District 109 level. Please forward that question to her.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, there is another question from the chat. Thank you, Nina. There is a wheel for role. It's really helpful, and you get a badge in Pathways. Correct. Yes. Thanks for bringing this up again, Nina. So one of the workarounds to encourage our members to take meeting roles is the so-called Toastmasters experience wheel. It encourages them to be a speaker, to be a grammarian, to host a meeting, to be a filler word counter, doing all the meeting roles that we have. And when they have that wheel completed, they get a badge. And you saw the badges that I have reached so far. So I did level 1 and I deactivated my path. So they will have a badge here showing them that you did the Toastmasters experience wheel. And by the way, Nina, did we find a solution on how can we as a VPE hand out that badge to our members?
Oh, we handle it to our clients in the club meetings. Do you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Okay. So when we have a meeting, I explain that the wheel exists.
Yeah.
And then you can have it. And if it's completed, you gave it to the VPE.
So you give it to the VPE, right? But
yes.
How does the VPE manage that we get the nice badge here on the Pathways platform?
This is what we are experienced on it.
We still don't have the answer, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so in our virtual COT in February, we were made aware of this Toastmasters experience wheel to encourage our members to take meeting roles. However, we don't, and they told us there will be a badge, like these electronic badges, but we do not know yet. But you are looking into the question, right? Together with Metaxia, our D109 PQD. That our members get this, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And so if you have different, also when you have problems encouraging your members to take on meeting roles, and I know the competent leadership manual is no longer there, please tell me. We have workarounds for this. There is help out there, but we are still, it's all work in progress, dealing with these new situations. I'm still optimistic here, but if you have any issues or questions, please reach out. We can help as the Division E team. Okay, 2 more minutes to go. Any more questions via the microphones or in the chat? Then let's wrap up. The recording of this webinar will be online on our Division E Google Drive 2 hours after this call. I will also make available the links again. And we know that the webinars have a long-lasting effect. We know this from our mentoring webinar. I also know it from people who are really keen on listening to the webinar that we did last week on how to fill club officer roles. And I trust that this time it will be the same, that we can use the recording for new joiners, for people that are skeptical, to show them that navigation is not easy, it's not intuitive, but when you know a little bit how to use it, you can do it in a smooth way. And we have one more thing from Nina. Okay, yeah, it's, yeah. You are also waiting for membership at Toastmasters, that it's too long and it's not customer friendly. Yes. So again, it's the same thing that Ivan raised. It's not intuitive, but don't expect it to change on short notice. The current workaround is to get used to it, having webinars like this, having people that are a bit more advanced, showing those that are just getting started with Pathways. And I say, with some routine, the navigation is not as bad as it looks in the first place. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time today. I know it's beautiful weather outside. I will stop the recording now, but of course, stay on the call for more questions. Thank you very much, everybody.